Hi, today we're going to be looking at the math app Geogebra. You may or may not already have it on your Chromebook, I'm not sure, but if you don't, that's okay. All right, we're going to be using that for geometry, so we want to make sure we understand how to use the tools. Okay, so this is the list of my apps. If you have it, it's Geogebra Classic. It looks like this. That's the one I want. If you don't have it, all you have to do is type in geogebra.org and you get this screen. So here we're looking at the math apps. We want Geogebra Classic. That's what we want to use. So click there. All right, so when Geogebra loads, it looks like the graphing calculator in Desmos. Well, Geogebra has their own graphing calculator. You can use this in place of that as well. What we want to do though is look at Geogebra Geometry. So we go over here and click on Geometry. And what comes up is a blank screen with a bunch of tools up here. Well, basically Geogebra Geometry is a drawing pad. So we can use the drawing tools to be able to work with different kinds of problems. So let me introduce you to the tools. All right, so we are clicked right now on the Move tool. Move, that's the line to move stuff around. We haven't put anything on there, so to drag or select an object. Down here it tells you what it does. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is a point. Point, we're going to use the point tool. All right, so to make a point, click, click, click. As long as that tool is selected, all you're going to be able to do is draw points. All right, so you can move these points around. These points are not fixed. If you go back to the Move tool, click Move, you can move your points around as you need to. All right. Okay, so now what do we want to do with the points? Well, let's look at the next tool. Let's draw a line. All right, so if we click Line, select 2 points or position. So I'm going to draw a line that goes between these 2 points. I want to go a line to go through A and B. So click A, click B, and you have a line. Notice a line goes on forever, so the line will keep going on and on forever. You can click Move and you can move these points around. You can move the line around as you need to. All right, now under the Line tool is another drop-down menu. We also use segments. We use segments a lot. All right, so to do a segment, select 2 points or positions. So to make a segment, you can go click, click, make a segment, or you can have 2 existing points, click, click, make a segment. Again, you can move them around, make them longer, shorter as you need to, and they move around. Okay, so there is a line, there is a segment. Now, what if I wanted to find the midpoint of one of these segments? Say I wanted to find the midpoint of DE. Well, that's a point, so go to the Point tool, go to Midpoint. Select 2 points, a segment, circle, or conic. That's how you do it. So all you have to do, whatever segment you want to find, is do 2 points. Now, if I want to find the midpoint of this segment, since I'm on the Midpoint tool, I just click the segment. Now, if I wanted to find the midpoint of segment AB, right here, that's between these 2 points, all I want to do is click the endpoints. A, B. There's your midpoint. So I have different midpoints. Now, again, if you want to undo something, this is the undo. And it does it. Oh, let me do that again. I'm still on midpoint. Click your endpoint segments, and we have our midpoint. Okay, so undo is very handy. Okay, now suppose I wanted to do a perpendicular bisector of a segment. All right, let me do a new screen. Go over here to the 3 arrows, click New. I don't want to save this, so. All right, so let's do a segment first of all. So I want to click the Line tool, Segment. Okay, now I want to do the perpendicular bisector of the segment. Let's do that first. Okay, for a perpendicular bisector, select 2 points or 1 segment. So to find the perpendicular bisector, I can just click on the segment, or draw another segment here. I can click on the endpoints, still on perpendicular bisector. I can click on the endpoints and it'll do the perpendicular bisector either way. All right, so that's perpendicular bisector. Now, I can also do a perpendicular line that is through a point that is not on that line. So let me put a point here. I'm going to do a point here. Suppose I wanted to do a perpendicular to this line. Well, if I click this right here, I do perpendicular line, click there, select a point and the perpendicular line. So this is the point, this is the line I want it to be perpendicular to. There's the line it's perpendicular. You can see that. All right, I can also do parallel. Under the line tool there, parallel line is the next one. Click parallel line, select a point and the parallel line. So you want to select a point and a line you want it to be parallel to. There's the point. I want it to be parallel to this line. And there's your parallel. And as you move these around, they will stay in position as you do it. You can move your lines up and down, however you want to do it. Oops, points up and down, there we go. All right, so you can move all of your stuff around. Okay, the next thing I want to do is talk about measurement and measuring angles and segments. All right, so this normally looks like the angle thing. So let me draw an angle, or let me draw a segment first of all. Here's a segment. Oops. All right, and I'm going to move this so it looks like an angle. All right, so there's my angle. Okay, now, say I wanted to measure the segment AB. If I go over here to the thing that looks like a measurement of an angle, I'm going to measure a distance. So if I click the segment, AB, the length of AB is 4.64. All right, let me move that into the outside. So it's out here. Okay, if I wanted to measure BC, I'm still on that right there. Distance or length, BC. I can see, notice when I do that, it goes 5.54 when I do that. So you can see what the segments are. Now, what if I wanted to measure this angle right here? Well, if you go under that same tool, click Angle, select 3 points or 2 lines. All right, now be very careful when you select the 3 points because the angle measure is a little weird. It has to go counterclockwise to measure. All right, so look what happens when I go ABC. A, B, C. Okay, there's the angle. But that's this angle right inside here. But what if I go CBA? Look what happens. CBA. It's actually measuring the outside of the angle. My move tool. It's actually measuring the outside of the angle going around this way. So be very careful about how you are measuring. So if I'm going ABC, I'm actually going around like this. The CBA, I'm going around like this. So you have to go, if you're going one way and it looks like it's measuring the outside, just unclick it and go the opposite way. All right, so that's measuring the angle. All right, now what if I wanted to bisect this angle? I can do that as well. That's a line. A bisector is a line. So if I go back to this line right here under perpendicular line, the fourth one down is angle bisector. All right, so select 3 points or 2 lines. So let me select 3 points. It doesn't matter which 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And I have the angle bisector. All right, now if I wanted to figure out what the measure of this angle over here is, and this angle over here as well, I need 3 points. So I can put a point on this line right there. Okay, now if I want to measure that, go back to the measure of the angle, click there. All right, I need to collect 3 points. So if I do C, B, oops, notice I'm going to the outside. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to unclick that. I want to go D, B, C, and then you can see that filled in the angle there. So be very careful about the way that you measure the angle by the points. So that's this angle right here. Now notice this is going to be half of this. And if I move this around, you can see that the angle measures and the segments will move as well. Okay. All right, so we've done lines, we've done segments. Now let's do polygons. All right, so I'm going to make a new screen. We're going to be File, New. We're not going to save this. All right, now we want to make a polygon. If we go over here, this is the Polygon tool. So we're going to click there. Now, polygon that we're going to use is the first one. You can make it select all vertices and then the first vertex again. So to make a polygon, say I want to make a triangle, I need to go 1, 2, 3 points and then go back to the start. If I want to make any other polygon, 2, 3, 4, 5, I just go back to the first one. Okay, and again, you can move those around as you need to. Okay, and you can see I can make any shape that I want. All right, so make sure that you go back to the original one. If you want to make a polygon that is all the same side lengths, like a octagon, like if you do a octagon, that is a regular polygon, like a stop sign. All right, select 2 points, then the number of vertices. So let me do 2 points, point, point. All right, regular polygon, point, point. Number of vertices, say I want to do an octagon, that would be 8. Okay, there's my octagon. All right, and it will do that. We'll mostly be using the first polygon one when we draw something, so don't worry about the regular polygon. But it's not hard to do. Just read your information down here. Okay, now let me move these around so I can work with them. Oops, I want to move the whole thing. All right, move my polygon around. All right, now, again, if I wanted to measure these, I can do that. Go over here to the measure tool. You can measure the angle or you can measure the distance. Say I want to measure the side. Oops, I did the perimeter. Undo. Undo is a wonderful thing. All right, distance or length. So I'm going to do just the side right there. Is AC is 7.71. If I click on the polygon itself, it will do the perimeter. All right, so let's undo that and undo this. Undo is a wonderful thing. All right, now if I just want to measure the segment, okay, you can click on the segment. If I wanted to find the midpoint, I can do that. Midpoint. Say I want to find the midpoint of this. All right, there's the midpoint of that segment. All right, now suppose I had these overlapping like so. All right, and I wanted to find the point where they intersect. All right, so if I click the second one right here, notice this fourth one down here says intersect. All right, select the intersection or 2 objects successively. All right, so if I click this and this, notice it intersects at Q and it intersects at R. So if you hit any 2 segments, angles, whatever, and you're looking for the intersection, all you have to do is click intersect. Okay, so that is a basic overview of all of the different kinds of tools, not all the tile tools, but some of the tools that we're going to be using for GeoGebra. Okay, so go ahead and open this up and play around with it. There's other tools you can use. See if you can figure out some of them. The circle one is cool. Feel free to play around with the tools that you have. We're going to be using GeoGebra hopefully for your next assignment.